Hello and welcome to this week's Women's Football Chat. My name is Chris Gadsby. I'm here every Thursday at 6 p.m, bringing you the very latest from the third and fourth tiers of women's football here in England. That's the FA Women's National League. Not so much to talk about this week in terms of league fixtures and league tables because it was primarily the FA Cup first round weekend. And this weekend coming up, it's County Cup. So there's not a huge amount to talk about in terms of league fixtures coming up. But we will go through everything together as we always do. We're going to start in the Southern Premier Division, where there was one game that took place last night. MK Dons 0, Oxford United 1. A Carly Johns 84th minute penalty, giving Oxford the lead and the 3 points. MK Dons also missed a penalty towards the end of that game. Lots of drama at Stadium MK. What it means for the table is that Oxford United are 5 points clear at the top, but Watford have 2 games in hand. MK Dons remain in 10th. They're on 7 points, a point clear of the relegation zone, but they have got games in hand on the teams around them. They are only 6 points back from 4th as well, and they do have a couple of games in hand. So it's very tight between Ipswich in 4th and MK Dons in 10th at the moment in the Southern Premier Division. Expect to see lots of movement in that league between now and Christmas as teams play games in hand that they're playing. Other teams are in cups, so they're not playing and all the rest of it. It's going to be very kind of reduced scheduling between now and the new year. One game was supposed to take place in Division 1 South East between Cambridge City and Hounslow, but that was postponed because Hounslow were unable to raise a team. They're still in at the foot of the Division 1 South East table. They've played 4 games. Most of the sides have played 7 or 8, so they're starting to lag behind as well. Still yet to get a point this season. They're holding open training sessions. They're advertising for goalkeepers. But they do have a couple of games, we'll look at it later, that are scheduled to take place in the next week. We'll see if they do or not. If they do, and Hounslow are able to get to kind of 6 games by this time next week, then it's going to start looking a lot better for them, and like they will be able to play an active role in the remainder of the season. But at the moment, it's looking a bit unlike they actually have a team that they can put out, which is a bit concerning because if they're not able to finish the season for whatever reason, we have no relegation out of that league, and that leaves not a lot to play for many of the sides. Just one game in Division 1 South East to talk about as well. AFC St Austell 2, Maidenhead United 3. AFC St Austell looked as though they were going to get their first points of the season. It was 2-2 going into the 90th minute, but Rebecca Wilson-Kane got one in the last minute for Maidenhead United to give them the 3 points. Other goals there, 2 for Imogen Fisher, 1 either side of half-time, and 2 for Lucy Soloway for AFC St Austell, again, 1 either side of half-time. What it means for the table, Maidenhead United jump up a place. They're now out of the relegation zone on goal difference only. Minus 16 to Larkhall Athletics, minus 17. But of course, Maidenhead United have got many games in hand. They've got 4 games in hand over Larkhall Athletic because they had difficulty at the start of the season. So they're now in 10th, Larkhall Athletic down in 11th. AFC St Austell still in 12th at the bottom of the table. Right, let's now have a look at the FA Cup because there are plenty of fixtures to talk about involving FAWNL sides. Women's FA Cup first rounds then. Now, there's been a bit of a blunder with the second round. I'll get onto that once I've gone through all of these fixtures because if it wasn't completely embarrassing, it'd be funny. But let's have a look at the first round results. Now, I've only got information on the goal scorers for the FAWNL sides, not the sides from Tier 5 and below. And these aren't all of the results. They're only the results that involve FAWNL sides. But Liverpool Feds beat Fleetwood Town Wrens by 5 goals to 1. Goals coming to Katie Thomas, Emily Douglas, Ellie Stewart, Megan Dykes and Nicola James. Norton Stockton Ancients losing by 4 goals to 1 at home to Durham Sestra in an all Division 1 North tie. No information about that goal from Norton Stockton Ancients. But Durham Cestra's 4 goals, 2 for Ellen Turnbull in the 9th and the 64th minute, Sarah Byrne in the 56th minute, and Erin Nicholson in the 90th minute, providing the victory for Durham Cestra. They're through to the next round, as are Middlesbrough, who beat Bradford City by 2-1 in another all Division 1 North tie. Bradford had Katie Woodcock sent off, so it did make their life a bit more difficult. Jessica Watkins with their goal, but Jessica Dawson and Simone Laverick with the goals for Middlesbrough to see them through. Stockport County, they beat Penrith by 7-3, despite being 3-2 down at half-time. Goals for Stockport coming to Maria Figueiredo. She got a hat-trick, 7th, 75th and 81st minute. Hannaford Douglas, 40th and 70th minutes. Levi Rathburn getting a goal, and Harriet Horton getting a goal 5 minutes from time as well. So a 7-3 victory for Stockport County. Merseyrail getting past FC United of Manchester by 4-1. 2 in the first half to Charlotte Cloy, put them 2-0 up at the break. Leah Carlin in the 89th minute and Chelsea Grimes in the 94th minute put Merseyrail comfortably past FC United of Manchester. Doncaster Rovers Bells lost by 3-0 at home to Huddersfield Town. Laura Elford in the 5th minute, Autumn Housley in the 45th minute, and Kira Heslem in the 67th minute made it relatively comfortable for Huddersfield in the end. What wasn't comfortable was for Leeds United against Brighouse Town. For Brighouse Town against Leeds United. This is one of the first kind of upsets of the weekend. Leeds United of the 4th tier beating Brighouse Town by 1-0 on penalties. Goals in the main game coming to Rebecca Bass in the 95th minute, and she came on in the 95th minute as well and scored the goal. Ella Harris getting the goal for Brighouse Town, and then it's Leeds United who win by 1-0 on penalties. So neither side particularly good from the spot in this one, but Brighouse Town of the 3rd tier taken out of the FA Cup by 4th tier Leeds United. Finally, for this first page, Barnsley winning by 5-1 away at Darwin. Madison Foy, Rebecca Gompertz, Brooke Marsden, Alana Milliard and Courtney Cosmore getting the goals for Barnsley. Goals now in the second page. Hull City, there's like 6 pages of this. Hull City 1, Newcastle United 2 after extra time. Georgia Gibson in the 65th minute for Newcastle. And then Rebecca Ferguson in the 1st minute of extra time, giving them the goal that would turn out to be the winner. Goal for Hull has not been put on full times. I don't know who scored their goal. But then we've got another upset in the FA Cup. Cheadle Town Stingers 2, York City 2. Cheadle winning by 2-1 on penalties. Goals to York City. Felicity Jones in the 11th minute and Alice Hughes in the 39th minute, providing their 2 goals. But Cheadle go through 90 minutes and extra time at 2-2 and then win on the penalty shootout. Alnwick Town, they lose by 4-1 to AFC Fylde. Fylde getting all these goals within the first half an hour. 2nd minute, Isabel Bing. 7th minute, Hannah Forster. 15th minute, Katie Smith. And 29th minute, Emily Hollinshead getting their 4 goals. A convincing victory as well for Burnley at Tranmere. Tranmere of the 5th tier, of course. Burnley of the 3rd. They lose by 9-0, but there's no information about that game at all. West Bromwich Albion then beating Crewe Alexandra by 4-0. A brace for Miriam Mahmood and Maria Timms getting a goal as well for West Brom. There's one missing on there. And let's have a look. Does it tell me or not? No, it doesn't. So that's just a 4-0 victory for West Brom. Then another lower tier side knocking out a higher tier side. Sporting Cowser beating Boulmere St Michael's by 2-1, despite Boulmere St Michael's being 1-0 up at half time. Chloe Bickley getting their goal in the 38th minute, but 2 in the final quarter of an hour. Isabel Austin Short and Rebecca Hall getting the goals, for Sporting Cowser, who win by 2-1. No such luck of an upset for Outsbridge War Memorial, who lose by 6-0 to Nottingham Forest. A brace for Ariana Daniels and Yasmin Mosby. one for Georgia Hewitt and one for Rosetta Taylor, put Forest into the second round. And finally, on this second page, Peterborough United 2, Stourbridge 1 after extra time. Peterborough United knocking out Stourbridge, which I have to say I was a bit surprised about, but fair play to Peterborough. This is after extra time as well. Niamh Connor in the first half put Peterborough United in front. Hannah Fishwick got a goal back got the equalising goal for Stourbridge in the 78th minute. It went to extra time, but Keir Perkins in the second minute of extra time put Peterborough in front, and that is how it stayed. Third page then, and another lower tier side knocking out higher tier. This is Sutton Coldfield Town knocking out Leafield Athletic 6-5 on penalties. Leafield's goal coming to Talita Chase 20 minutes from time, but Sutton Coldfield holding on through extra time as well. Go to penalties and a 6-5 on penalties. Sutton Coldfield win. No such luck for Shrewsbury Town, who took on Wolverhampton Wanderers. Wolves winning by 8-2. They were 5-1 up at half-time in this one as well. A hat-trick for Amber Hughes. Goals for Beth Merrick, Anna Morfitt, Maria Gauntlet and Helen Dermody as well. That's 7 of them. Where's this final one? Is it a penalty? We'll have to see. Yeah, penalty for Anna Morfitt as well. So 4 for her in the end on Sunday afternoon. 8-2. They go past 5th tier Shrewsbury. Loughborough Lightning beat Sheffield by 3-0. That went kind of as the tiers would expect. Goals in that one, Monique Robinson, Nicola Russell and Georgia Stevens with the goals for Loughborough Lightning. Lytown 1, Wemtown 4. Wemtown through to the next round. Kimberly Bebbington, Katie Doster, Kirsty Hunt and Michelle Pascoe with the goals for Wemtown. Stoke City knocked out Derby County by 3-2 on penalties. Looked as though they were going to get through in normal time. Alison Hall had put them in front in the first half, but Anita Gaspar got one back in the last minute of the 90 for Derby. But Stoke City winning by 3-2 on penalties. Billericay Town beat Kingston Town by 12-0. Convincing victory for Billericay Town, the biggest result of the weekend. 4 for Zoe Russian, 2 for Sophie McLean, and then 1 each for Holly Turner, Bew Parker, Jessica King, Jay Blackie, Che Thomas and Charlotte O'Shea. 12-0. Third tier Billericay Town beat 5th tier Kings Lynn Town. Royston Town 2, London Seaward 3. London Seaward of the... that should be 4th tier, sorry. That's a mistake on the right-hand side there. But London Seaward 3, Royston Town 2. London Seaward. This took extra time, though. 2 for Catherine Long and 1 for Samantha Lanza there on the right-hand side of the screen. So goals there putting London Seaward through after extra time. And Norwich City 2, Enfield Town 0. Enfield Town coming on the wrong side of that result. Then Norwich City of the 4th tier able to get past him. Ellie Smith and Megan Todd providing the win, the goals to make Norwich City win there in the FA Cup. Right, 4th page. We're halfway through the FA Cup now. Told you this was going to be a long one. Colney Heath 1, #United 10. #United with a convincing victory, but they don't get the biggest result of the weekend. As I said, that went to Billericay Town. 5 goals for Samantha Rowland, 2 for Malika Apinda Gill and a hat-trick for Kelly Welfall for #United, giving them a 10-1 victory. MK Dons, an 8-1 victory over 7th tier Mulbarton Wanderers, so no real surprise there. A 4-tier difference between those two sides. Molly Cooper with a hat-trick, Lucy Woods with a brace, Nicole Pepper, Amy McLean and Laura Mitchell with goals for Milton Keynes Dons. Ipswich Town also with a convincing victory against Luton Town, winning by 7-0. Maddie Biggs and Natasha Thomas with a brace each, Abigail Lafayette, Anna Gray and Maria Boswell with Ipswich's goals. Watford, 7-1 winners over Fulham. A brace for Florence Fife, a brace for Poppy Wilson, a brace for Bianca Baptiste, and one for Gemma Davison, giving Watford a 7-1 victory. Portsmouth, they won away at Abingdon Town by 4-0. Abingdon Town 2-0 down at half-time here. 2 goals in the first half for Sophie Quirk. One for Nicole Barrett, 20 minutes from time, and then one deep into added time to Annie Rolfe gave Portsmouth the 4-0 win. Moneyfields fought hard, but eventually just about came on the wrong side of the result against Crawley Wasps, the third-tier side needing extra time to get past fourth-tier Moneyfields. Gemma Simmons and Charlie Wilson-Wilton with Moneyfields goals. Celine Bukagari with 2 for Crawley Wasps, and then a goal in added time, which is not on. To Letita Nichols as well, getting a goal for Crawley from the penalty spot. Ebbsfleet United 1, Southampton Women's 2. Ebbsfleet to the 5th tier, going close with Southampton Women. This was after extra time as well. Summer Kilby with a goal, as well as Rachel Okoro in the 67th minute. Jasmine Nassar sent off for Southampton Women in that one, which made it all the more difficult for them. But they got through. They're in the hat for the next round. And then finally on this page, AFC Stoneham against Actonians. Actonians winning by 3-0. Chishiro Abin with a brace and Dominika Netscheva with a goal for Actonians. 3-0 win for Actonians. They're through into the next round. Okay, page 5 out of 6. Chelsea 1, AFC Wimbledon 5. AFC Wimbledon 5. Chelsea here losing. They actually took the lead in this one, looks like. Natasha Wilde in the 26th minute, but having to play the entire second half with 10 made it difficult. Eleanor Doria with a brace for Wimbledon. Ashley Hinks with a brace as well. There should be another one in there somewhere. A penalty to Ashley Hinks following that red card as well. So Ashley Hinks with a hat-trick in that one. Gillingham needed penalties to get past 5th tier Millwall Lionesses. 2-2 at the end of 120 minutes. As full time's now decided it wants to run slow and kind of crash on me a bit, which is not the most helpful, I must be honest. So Gillingham getting through on penalties after a 2-2 draw. Oxford United 6-1 winners over Chesham United. Looks like, after all of that, there's no information about the Millwall-Gillingham game anyway. So we'll go to Oxford United against Chesham United, 6-1 victory. 2 for Carly Johns, 7th and 28th minute. Also 52nd minute Lily Stevens, 87th minute Samantha Wynn, 91st minute Daisy McLaughlin. There should be another goal in there as well. Not that's been put on here. No, there's a goal missing on full time. Chesham United's goal, by the way, coming to Gemma Fraser in the 9th minute in that one, but Oxford just had too much for them. London Bees beat Hackney Women by 4-0. Comfortable, really, for London Bees. Their goals, 3 goals put down here. Juliet Kinde Adbowle, Janae Beaufort and Nikita Winnett with 3 of their goals, and Danielle Puddlefoot with a goal from penalty spot as well. 4-0 for London Bees. Swindon Town 3-0 over Frampton Rangers. Swindon Town, there they are. 3-0. Stephanie Bent in the 57th minute. Annabelle Colston in the 67th minute. Rebecca Donnelly had opened the scoring, though, in the 12th minute. Made it 3-0 for Swindon. Portishead Town, 2-0 winners over Eastleigh in the Community. Goals in this one for Portishead coming to Shannon Holloway, 42nd minute, and Ellie Stripple in the 89th minute. Exeter City 4, AFC Bournemouth 2. So close one there between two sides in Division 1 South West. There's Exeter City. Brace for Zoe Watkins, 45th and 90th. Emily Toogood, 61st minute. And Jenna Markham in the 70th minute with the 4 goals for Exeter. Shannon Albury in the 86th minute. Bethany Everson in the 74th minute for Bournemouth. So they really tried to kick on towards the end, but having Holly Humphries sent off towards the end didn't help them try and pull it back. And Cardiff City 4, Bridgewater United 0. Laura Williams 20th minute, Kerry Bartlett 52nd minute, Ingrid Allan 76th minute, and Ellie Sargent 90th minute. Interesting thing with Cardiff here is that their number one keeper, Laura O'Sullivan, of course, is away with Wales at the moment. So they had to put one of their strikers in goal who had a little bit of goalkeeping experience. So 4-0 victory without a proper goalkeeper is impressive from Cardiff. Right, final page then. There's only 4 more ties to go through. Weymouth 0, Keynsham Town 5. Keynsham Town... I've got to try and find this one again. Now, there it is. Keynsham Town. Weymouth against Keynsham Town. No information about that game. So after all of that, it's not actually even on there. Plymouth Argyle 4, Cheltenham Town 2. Goals to Plymouth Argyle. Coming to... well, that just looks strange. So Beth Island with a goal in the 19th minute, but then apparently Georgia Wilson scored in the 17th, the 17th, the 17th, and the 96th. So that's not right. Let's have a look, see what the situation is here. I mean, that's what it's been put down as on the system. So either the score's wrong or something's gone wrong in there. I suspect one of those 17 minutes has been duplicated. Goals for Cheltenham Town. Izzy Cook in the 80th minute and Amy Wathen in the 93rd minute that Plymouth go through. Sedgley and Gornal United against Solihull Moors. Solihull Moors are the 4th tier, just sweeping past 6th tier Sedgley and Gornal. 2 for Cheryl Edwards, 1 for Annie Highway, 1 for Eva Rogers and Lindsay Ross Baker. So Solihull are in the hat. And finally, Northampton Town. 6-2 winners over Dronfield Town. Goals in this one, 2 for Abby Raboul in the 1st and the 55th minute. Kimberly Farrow, 9th and 61st minute. Alexandra Dix in the 11th minute. And Gracie Williams in the 86th minute. Those are the FA Cup ties that involve FAWNL sides. The second round is next weekend, so I'll be looking at that in a lot of detail on next week's show. All but one of the ties involve an FAWNL side, so I'm just going to look at all of them. And I'll give you a full rundown of that in next week's show. But before we get there, we've got to talk about what happened with the draw announcement this week. Right, shall we talk about the FA and how they've messed up the draw this time? Well, they haven't actually messed up the draw, they've just messed up how they've publicised it. So if you remember from the first round, they put one of the wrong teams in the draw and that had to get corrected later. This round, the draw is fine. I've seen nothing wrong with the draw. The issue comes with the article that relates to the draw. I'll read it for you. It's only a short article. I'll read it in full. The draw for the Vitality Women's FA Cup second round proper has been made following a fantastic day of action in yesterday's first round proper matches. Nothing wrong with that. Highlights of the draw, here we go, include 8-time champions Southampton Women's heading to AFC Whiteleaf or Ebbsfleet United, while 6-time winners Doncaster Bells host Huddersfield Town in a Yorkshire derby. That's the first paragraph. Now, let's have a look at this. So, firstly, Doncaster Bells hosted Huddersfield in the first round and lost, so they're not in the second round. Also, AFC Whiteleaf or Ebbsfleet United was a 4th qualifying round tie, which Ebbsfleet won. They then played Southampton, as I've just gone through, in the first round and lost. So this article is 2 rounds out of date. And I went to look back at the first round draw article just to see if what they'd done is copy and paste it across and forgot to change things. Nope, that didn't have an article with it, with this sort of thing. This is completely fresh. Next paragraph. Lowest ranked team left in the competition, 7-tier Consett, will host either Warrington Wolves Foundation or Farsley Celtic Juniors. Again, Warrington Wolves against Farsley was a 4th qualifying round tie that Farsley won. They then played Consett and Consett won. So that's another sentence where it's 2 rounds out of date. There are 28 matches due to take place on Sunday the 27th of November at 1 p.m. Winning clubs receiving £8,000, losing team receiving £2,000. Nothing wrong with that. That's correct. But everything involving teams was wrong. And given that they have linked to the draw on the article, like underneath the draw, underneath the article is a link to say download the draw here. they've put that on. You would think that they'd go, okay, let's have a look at see what these teams are playing. But no, they've got it wrong. So yeah, I don't know how they've got it that wrong, let alone just getting, it's 2 rounds out of date. Not just 1 round, it's 2 rounds out of date. So I don't know how they got that wrong. But anyway, I'm not going to sit here and moan all the time. It's pointless. It's not going to change. It's not going to change, is it? So we'll have to see. Right. Fixtures coming up in the next week then. In the FA Women's National League and the Cup competitions. Let me go to the... you have a look at the plate. 1 game to take place. This is the first round game in the FAWNL plate. QPR against Portishead Town. If you remember, it was postponed when it was supposed to be played because of the weather. This is where they can play because it's County Cup weekend and they're not playing in the County Cup. Right, Northern fixtures. Just 1. Liverpool Feds against Loughborough Lightning. Feds in 9th on 9 points. Loughborough Lightning in 12th, bottom of the table with just 1 point. They're 8 points away from safety already. So they could really do with getting a victory to try and claw themselves back. Otherwise, it may well be tier 4 for them next season. Southern fixtures, there are 3. Milton Keynes Dons against London Bees, Plymouth Argyle against Ipswich, and Watford against Billericay Town. MK Dons against London Bees is 10th against 8th. Both will be looking to make a bit of headway up the league table because Plymouth Argyle against Ipswich, you would fancy Ipswich in that one. Plymouth currently in the relegation zone. Watford against Billericay Town, that's 2nd against 5th. Tough test for Billericay Town, but with a win, they could put themselves up to 4th if Ipswich don't win. Billericay Town, they struggled a bit to start the season, but they've put some results together now. They find themselves 5th in the table. I mean, you look at their Southern Division, they started, not badly, but they started 3 defeats in a row. Then they beat MK Dons, got a draw with Oxford, of course. But if you look at their last Southern Premier Division games, a win against Plymouth, a win against Gillingham, a win against Crawley. So they've got 9 points out of the last 9, which has really shot them up the table. In 5th, Cheltenham Town, the other promoted side, are in 6th. So it's great to see the promoted sides doing so well in the Southern Premier Division. If you look at the Northern Premier Division, they're not doing too badly there either. Liverpool Feds and Bournemouth St Michael's, neither of those are in the relegation zone, which is great to see for the competitiveness. Last thing you want is a team to come up, lose every game and go straight back down again. So that's the situation in the South. Division 1 Midlands has 2 games. Leaford Athletic against Lincoln City, that's 5th against 9th. Long Eaton United against Wem Town, that's 12th against 10th in that one. So Long Eaton United, they're 4 points away from safety. That could, of course, increase. Should Lincoln City win, should Wem Town win, then that will become a 5-point gap again. Division 1 Midlands, you've got Stourbridge up at the top. And then you've got Northampton Town, who are currently in 11th, but they are certainly not out of it and looking to go straight back down, of course. Right, Division 1 North, there are 4 games to talk about. Chorley against Norton Stockton Ancients, Chorley bottom in 12th, Norton Stockton Ancients in 9th. Durham Sestra 2nd, York City 7th in that fixture. So Durham Sestra, Newcastle not playing. This is Durham Sestra's game in hand. They could go back to the top of the table with a win. Middlesbrough against Merseyrail, that's 6th against 10th. Middlesbrough on 12 points. They could climb 1 place with a win. Merseyrail, even with a win, are going to stay where they are unless they win by about a dozen goals. And Stockport County against Hull City, 5th against 8th. Stockport County could get up to 3rd. Hull City could get up to 6th from their 8th place. Division 1 South East, this is where I was talking about earlier with the interesting stuff around Hounslow. Ashford Town against London Seaward, that's 7th against 4th. Ashford Town could climb 1 place. London Seaward could climb 1 place as well. Chesham against Actonians, that's 8th against 9th. They'll both be looking to put distance between themselves and Hounslow at the bottom of the table. But Hounslow have got Cambridge United. They're in sick for Cambridge. Hounslow, as I said, bottom of the table. Then on Tuesday, Actonians play Hounslow as well. So if they can get both of those games played, and Hounslow have played 6, when some of the teams around them have only played 7, then it won't start looking so bad for Hounslow. But if they can't get these games on this week, if they can't raise a team, or if it's waterlogged, which could well be the case because it's still chucking it down here in the East Midlands, then it could start to become very difficult for Hounslow because they are advertising, they want goalkeepers, they're having an open training session. So it sounds as though they haven't got a team to put together at the moment. Finally, Division 1 South West. We've got Larkhall Athletic against Keynsham Town. Larkhall Athletic in 11th, Keynsham Town in 9th. But both sides could get themselves out of the relegation zone if Maidenhead United don't beat Cardiff City. Now, bearing in mind, Cardiff City have played 7, won 7 at the moment, and they've won in the Cup and they've won in the FA Cup. I'm kind of picking Cardiff City for this one. 21 points for a possible 21 for Cardiff. So Larkhall Athletic and Maidenhead United both with the opportunity, because of Keynsham Town's lower goal difference, to get themselves out of the relegation zone this weekend. And that will do it for this week's Women's Football Chat. Thank you very much for watching and or listening if you're listening to the audio version on streaming services. Apologies if the audio quality isn't quite as good as I'd like. I'm all kind of got the bug that's going round at the moment. I thought it was from commentary at the weekend and given myself a sore throat, but clearly it's not. It's the bug or whatever that's going round at the moment. So we've got this weekend a bit of a reduced schedule. Then next week we've got the second round of the FA Cup to look forward to, with a good number of FAWNL sides involved. From memory, it is 39. I think it's 39 from memory. I'm trying to do the maths. I did know it a bit ago. But yes, thank you very much for watching and or listening. Of course, we've got the World Cup coming up as well. So and with so many cup competitions, I'll be looking to get some more people on when the fixtures are a bit lower. But thank you very much for watching and or listening. Keep supporting your local women's football team, particularly when there's no Premiership and Championship on because of the World Cup. I've been Chris Gadsby. Thank you very much for spending your 35 minutes with me, and goodbye.